Okay, so I know this movie is called Late Night with the Devil, but look, my parents watch this channel, and if they knew I saw a movie called Late Night with the Devil, well, they kill me. And I don't necessarily think they're going to watch this particular video, but just to be safe, I'm going to kind of brighten up the title a little bit, so I'm going to refer to this movie as Late Night with David Dastmalchian, which, honestly, if you refer to the movie as that, and you walked into this movie and got this experience, well, that would be a brilliant marketing campaign. I'm pretty sure a lot of us would want to spend time on a late night show with David Dastmalchian, and then if the events that occurred in this movie happen here with that title, then that's just brilliant. But regardless, let's get on to this review. Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my review of Late Night with David Dastmalchian, aka Late Night with the Devil, but regardless, it is starring David Dastmalchian, Ingrid Torelli, Laura Gordon, Michael Ironside, and was directed by Cameron and Colin Carnes, hopefully I'm saying that right, the Carnes brothers. And basically our plot is following a late night talk show host who has been chasing that #1 spot for years, trying to surpass Johnny Carson, just was never able to, and now as sort of a last resort type move, on Halloween night he decides to pull out all the stops and bring out a girl who is claiming to be possessed by the devil, and, well, events unravel from there, ladies and gentlemen. Look, that is really all the information you need to know about this movie, because this is a horror event. I will describe it as unlike anything I honestly think I've ever witnessed in the horror genre before. This is something that was truly beautifully put together, and all at the same time, it was completely fucked. And I mean that in like the best ways possible and the worst ways. But the worst ways also meaning the best, because it's just a completely insane movie. But look, let's just get to what I loved about the film, because there's not really much I did not like about this movie whatsoever. Okay, so the first thing I loved about this movie was the build-up in the beginning of the film. And what I mean is, basically this movie is taking place on a late night show, obviously, because it's called Late Night. But all we are really getting is the late night portion of the show, and late night portion of the movie, and the behind the scenes looks when they cut to commercial breaks and things like that. But what they do is, in the beginning of the movie, they take at least 3 to 4 minutes to give you a build up of how not only how did we get here, as far as like how did we get to the stakes and how much is riding on this night, but basically it gives you a build up of David Dastmalchian's character, his basically time as a TV talk show host, basically the things that he's been through in his life, and basically how everything that has happened in his life thus far is literally led to this moment tonight. And it is the most brilliant thing I've ever seen put together, as far as just taking 3 to 4 minutes to give you all the information you need to just throw you right into the fire. I love the way they started this movie off, and then honestly, once the fire is started, it only gets bigger, only gets crazier, only gets wilder. And I'm telling you, one thing I really adored about this movie was the fact that, honestly, they really know how to build tension, but at the same time, they have all the different characters are playing different parts of this talk show. So basically they have the possessed girl and the doctor that help the possessed girl and the doctor that helps her, and then you have a sidekick and a skeptic, and the skeptic is there to question everything that's going on. It's Halloween night. He's there to prove that all these tricks and all these, possessions and things that this sidekick can do, and the doctor is claiming that the girl can do, he's there to prove that all of that is just hogwash and it's not real. He's even willing to put $100,000 on it, and he played his role very well. And then you have the sidekick who he is there to basically, read people's minds and things like that, and they played their roles so well. Like, everybody just played their parts so well, and honestly, it really, I don't know if as audience members we ever are going to question, like, is that girl possessed? I'm pretty sure we all know, like, no, there's something wrong with that girl. But as far as like the audience members in the show and David Dastmalchian and everybody on set, everybody's going back and forth questioning whether or not this stuff is real, whether or not it's a trick, whether or not, somebody's playing a joke on us. It's a very good back and forth of like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, is this real? Like, how did this person do this? Is that like is that a trick? Is that just like, how are you able to do these things? And as the movie progresses and the skeptic keeps trying to get more and more just like into his reasonings as to why this is all just a bunch of BS, the little possessed girl give you more reasons as to why this shit is ridiculous, man. I'm telling you. Yo, shout out to, her name was Ingrid Torelli. Yes, Ingrid Torelli, who played Lily, the possessed girl. That's one of the best possession performances I've seen since Evil Dead Rise, because I have to, yes, the girl from Evil Dead Rise, whose name is escaping me right now, she killed that. But this is up there. This is up there for one of those possession performances, because this girl, when they bring her out, she's completely normal. Like she's just any other person. And then she starts talking, and it's not even we're not even at the possessed part yet. She just starts talking, and you can tell that there's just something not right in the head with this girl. There's just something very off about this entire situation itself. And also shout out to David Dastmalchian, because he gave an incredible performance, a brilliant performance. I mean, I absolutely loved him, not only as a talk show host. I'm telling you, if this movie was actually called Late Night with David Dastmalchian, I wouldn't even be mad at it. Like, I mean, I'd honestly like that. I think that'd be pretty clever to call it that, and then you're watching this and you're like, oh, this is Late Night with David Dastmalchian, but this is something pretty fucked. But look, I'm trying to find a way to wrap my head truly around what I witnessed. Another thing I absolutely loved about this movie is the horrific, grotesque, gruesome imagery throughout the film itself. I mean, it sometimes happens in quick flashes, but the imagery in this film is very haunting if you can catch it. Some of the images will be literally smeared into your brain. You can't miss it at all. But the horror elements to this movie are absolutely genius. And like I said, I love when they decide to pick and choose about when they want it to be, when they want the skeptic to talk, and then when they want, the doctor to, do her demonstration and prove her thing and go into her little spiel. And then sometimes, like I said, even when the sidekick did his thing, he had a moment of regurgitation, which it was absolutely gross. But like the horror elements to this movie were knocked out. Oh God, I'm trying to get my words together. So sorry, guys. Basically, they knocked it out of the frickin' park. That's basically that's the best way I can put it. The horror elements are genius, and no, there are no jump scares. There's no jump scares. That's the best part. There's no jump scares. They are completely using the environment of what the hell is going on. Is this real? Is it not? Are you in on this? Is this something for our entertainment, or are we actually supposed to be freaked out right now? They use that entire just environment to just build what this movie makes you feel, and that is what makes it scary. That's why I truly love this movie, because it's a different type of scary. It's one that feels real, because you're watching. It's like you're literally watching a late night show, and you're just watching this occur, and it's like, yo, like, is this okay to just be is this okay to be doing? Because it's like I just love that element of the movie. One thing I will point out, they are talking about, there are like 3 like AI things in this film. One is pretty painfully obvious and is pretty laughable. I won't lie to you. It took me out of the movie. It's pretty laughable. The other 2 things, I'm pretty sure I know what the other thing was, but it didn't look that bad to me. But one of them is very laughably bad. But I mean, the AI didn't really bother me that much. If anything, that one laughably bad AI spot is probably the only thing I had a problem with in this movie. Other than that, This thing is very unsettling. This thing really can sit with you, and it's like as the movie is progressing. I want to keep calling it a show because it is a late night show, but as the movie continuously progresses, and when they keep cutting back and forth between the show and the behind the scenes, it's just like it's so fun to see everybody's reaction like behind the scenes, and they're like, yo, like, we gotta cut this, you gotta shut this down, this does not need to go on anymore, and it's just everybody's freaking out. It's just so fun to see all this chaos just going on, and then just even more chaos as we continuously go back to the actual show itself, because you know the show must go on. Also, the thing I absolutely loved about what they did with David Dastmalchian's character in this film, they showed just how far this guy would go to get that @1 spot. Like that would drive a man to do some very ridiculous things, as far as bring a possessed girl on a television show, or at a claim possessed girl on a television show. But I mean, she was possessed, but I mean, you're not going to know that until you bring her on the show yourself and see for yourself. And that's why I absolutely loved how they had a skeptic on this in this movie. I want to keep calling it a show. I love how they had a skeptic who was played by, I'm not even gonna, yeah, we're not gonna touch that right now. The skeptic, I love how they had him in this film, because he just really added an element to this film where it really had you guessing at times, like, okay, maybe he really is like proving all this stuff is BS. But then it just proves not to be. But look, overall, guys, Late Night with David Dastmalchian is one of the most unique horror experiences you will have in a movie theater ever. I promise you that. It is one that I feel like you should definitely go see. It is one that I feel like is so uniquely put together. It is so brilliantly, completely, chaotically fucked that all horror fans would absolutely adore this. And that is my review. So, for all those reasons and so many more, guys, I'm going to give Late Night with David Dastmalchian, aka Late Night with the Devil, a 4.75 out of 5 stars. Okay, guys, so Late Night with David Dastmalchian. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff and so much more. Look, this is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.